those Targaryens, you know, they do many incests, okay? Where are you? A little stabby stab of a boar. Well, hello, welcome back to my channel. Joshana here to talk about some friggin' House of the Dragon. Episodes 3 and 4, because as I posted on my community post the other day, or last week, whenever the hell it was, I had my brother and my nephew in town, so I did watch episode 3 when it aired that Sunday, but they were here until Wednesday. I didn't get a chance to record anything, and then I was just, you know, decompressing, getting my house back in order, doing domestic things, and I just didn't feel like trying to rush talking about it before the next episode, so I'm just doing them both today. And same as with the first 2 episodes, where I'm just giving you my thoughts, my general thoughts, with perhaps some little tidbits that will not be spoilery. Okay, so I do have my notes. I took notes still for episode 3, my little bullet points. First note is, I feel like this is I did see one reaction channel make a comment about this, and I can't remember which one because I watch many. At the very beginning of episode 3, second of his name, when they're battling on the stepstones and Daemon lands on Caraxes, and then he's shouting to the crab feeder and he's like, "Where are you? Come out and face me. Where are you?" I was like, all right, bro. Like, what was that? Like, I don't know. I was like, that was dumb. He's gonna come out because you're on your dragon screaming, "Where are you?" Like, what did you think was gonna happen here? The guy was gonna be like, oh, you're looking for me? I'm right here. And his voice just sounded kind of silly to me in that moment. And yeah, the one, again, I cannot remember who, it was a guy, made a comment like, his voice doesn't sound very powerful right there. I was like, yeah, exactly. But whatever, minor little complaint. Rhaenyra as a character here in episode 3, or there in episode 3, continues to just be very interesting. It's like, I really like her. I like her a lot, but she is like, as much as I do like her, she also is equally frustrating to me. She just flip-flops back and forth between being like, I should be the heir, or like, I am the heir, so everyone should respect me, and I don't want to suddenly not be the heir now that I am. I want to have this solidified, but at the same time, it's so hard being a princess. It's like, girl, pick one, but she's a teenager, you know what I mean? So it's like, it makes sense. In that age range, anyone is kind of conflicted about who they even are or want to be. And on top of those very normal feelings, she is a princess and an heir to a throne. So it's like very complicated feelings that I just, keep noticing that she's just doing that a lot. I have a note here that I mentioned before that I've seen people over and over again in comment sections and on Twitter likening Otto Hightower to Peter Baelish, Littlefinger, from the original Game of Thrones show, and I severely disagree. I do not think he's like that. I think I put my note here that Otto is more like a Tywin Lannister to me than a Littlefinger. His motivations are very obvious. He's not very subtle about his motivations, and I put a note, if anyone thinks about his behavior for more than 2 minutes, they'll be able to see what he's about. And Littlefinger's whole thing was to keep people guessing. Don't let your enemies even know your motivations. Like, keep everyone curious and confused. And like I said before, you would be. If you thought about some of the plots he did, you're like, wait, what? Like, he did that, but then them, and then, huh? That was all him? You know, Otto Hightower is not that fucking smooth, right? He's conniving and he's ambitious, like Tywin Lannister was, but like, he's just more straightforward with it. I really, really liked, and I've seen people talk about this, the kind of juxtaposition, or the similarities, I guess, continuing to show the similarities between Daemon and Rhaenyra, with, in episode 3, both of them being covered in blood at one point, and from their own, like, little battles. I mean, hers was a A little stabby stab of a boar. And it was also like interesting how at the beginning she was talking about not wanting to go hunting because of the boars and the animals when they're dying squealing, and she finds it discomforting. And then she's all like, rah, 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 fucking going ham on this boar. And I just thought that was like an interesting little shift for her. It felt like a moment for her of, I guess, I don't know, a little bit of personal agency and a little bit of, oh wait, I'm actually kind of a badass a little bit, huh? One of my notes was, spite is a great motivator, because yeah, Damon just full on spiteful there in that whole ending sequence where he did not say a single word, but you could see very clearly how he was feeling. He's just like, nah, you're not about to take this from me. You're not about to swoop in and then act like this was our doing when I've been here for years, bro. Fuck no, absolutely not. So we have seen him now, and we've seen now a couple of dragons. And I put a bunch of notes about the dragons that, I don't know, it's probably, I should, if I want to talk about them in this much detail, I should probably just do another video. But there's enough videos on YouTube, I feel, if you are curious. But yeah, we're gonna see a lot more dragons, and I feel like people are forgetting that, or maybe just like not aware of it. But like in the little prologue thing in episode 1, when she's like, oh, they had 10 dragons, I've seen some people be like, oh, they have 10 right now. No, she was talking about before. At this time, there's currently, I think, 16 or 17 dragons like existing in the world, and most of them have dragon riders or are about to have dragon riders. And there's like 3 or 4 that get hatched soon and like during the Dance of the Dragons. And yeah, we've now seen just 3 of them. We've only seen Caraxes, which is Damon's, the one that's like the long, like the worm, and then Syrax, which is Rhaenyra's dragon, and then now in episode 3 here, we saw Laenor's dragon, Sea Smoke. And I don't know if it's like spoilery for people to like talk about what other dragons are currently existing in the world and who their dragon riders are, because in the show, I'm like, maybe they're trying to like do big reveals, but I keep getting frustrated watching reactions because I obviously like know a lot more about the like lore than most other like people just watching it casually, obviously, because I'm like a fucking nerd for it. But yeah, so many people like confused and not understanding that there are a lot more dragons, and that not only these Targaryen royals can ride them, like you have to have Targaryen blood, but like the Velaryons do, those kids do, because their mom is a Targaryen. So yeah, I'm like, I don't know, but yeah, people keep being, I have to remind myself, like, not everyone is as obsessed with this as you are, Shoshana. People either being just so confused about seeing Laenor, thinking he's riding Daemon's dragon, not understanding, like, not catching that it's a different dragon entirely, which I understand, because it's, like, a brief thing. And if in your head you're not expecting more dragons, you would be thinking, like, oh, that's just the same dragon I've seen already, even if they're different colors and stuff. It's a battle, you know, again, just viewing it casually, I probably wouldn't have noticed either, right? But yeah, there's a lot more we're gonna get. So if anyone wants me to do a video about it, I guess I will. And I'm just like getting really excited for some of them. And one of them has been mentioned already. Vhagar has been mentioned, but they have clearly changed Vhagar's timeline of like who Vhagar's dragon rider is, because of things that, again, I don't know if it's spoilery, because I don't know if it's supposed to be some big reveal in the show. And then Dreamfire has been mentioned as well, because it was Dreamfire's egg that Daemon stole in episode 2. And Dreamfire has a very tumultuous history with Princess Rhaena from before. And if they follow the book with Dreamfire, we will definitely see Dreamfire later. And Dany, in the original Game of Thrones show, Daenerys Targaryen, her 3 dragons, it is rumored and theorized that those 3 eggs are the 3 eggs that, Foreman, what was her name? Farman, not Foreman, Alyssa Farman. She was a friend of Princess Rhaena, and she stole 3 dragon eggs and dipped over to Essos. And so it is theorized that those 3 eggs that Dany gets gifted were Dreamfire's eggs. And another fun fact that is not spoilery about Vhagar. Vhagar was the dragon of one of Aegon the Conqueror's sister wives, Visenya. And Visenya was the wielder of Dark Sister, the sword that Daemon has now. And from what I can gather, basically all of the dragons that come, because when they came over to Dragonstone, they already had Balerion. Balerion is the last living creature to have seen Old Valyria before the Doom. Vhagar and Meraxes were hatched on Dragonstone after they came over. But yeah, so she was the rider of Vhagar, Visenya was. And then, yeah, Vhagar, from what I can gather, is like where all the rest of the dragons came from, other than, I took note, Quicksilver, and then the Cannibal, which was a wild dragon on Dragonstone that they believe was there when they came to Dragonstone. And then Grey Ghost was another kind of random dragon that nobody's really sure where it came from, another wild dragon later on. But yeah, all the rest are descendants of Vhagar. So that's a fun fact. And okay, on to episode 4, which when I I clicked on it like right at 6 p.m. and it didn't have the title up yet. So I can't even remember what the title of the episode was because, yeah, I just clicked it and was like, meh. Let me see, King of the Narrow Sea. That's right. King of the Narrow Sea. Yeah, one of my first notes was, "Aw, don't be mean to the poor kid." When she's, courting all these guys. Was it the Blackwood kid? That was a fun scene. Another random note that isn't important, a little complaint, is I don't like Daemon's haircut. No, nobody cares. It's fine. I found it really fun and nice and interesting having Alicent and Rhaenyra make up a little bit in this episode. Yeah, it's getting complicated. And I forgot to look up, but I took a note of Maegor's passageways, but I don't remember if Maegor's passageways, his secret passages, secret tunnels, were only in Maegor's Holdfast, and then I'm like, I don't know if that's where they are in the castle, where their rooms are, if their rooms are in Maegor's Holdfast, I'm not sure. But yeah, there are all these secret tunnels that Maegor the Cruel had put in when he had his Holdfast build, or his hold. So I don't know if those were those, or those are just other passageways, but it was fun. And I really enjoyed this episode. I mean, I just enjoyed the episode overall. I'm enjoying all the episodes, though. But I really like... It's funny, from reading the book, I did not think Alicent Hightower was going to be a character that I felt bad for at all, or kind of liked. In the book, she is a slightly different character, and much more conniving. At least it's alluded to, because again, the book is very much here's historical text, and here's what people said about this thing, and here's our account of this situation, and what was actually said, and what was hearsay, and what we don't know. So from what you could gather of her in Fire and Blood, I was just not thinking I was going to at all be on her side ever. But yeah, I'm really feeling for her. Even in the earlier episodes, you can see her constantly picking at her nails and everything. I mentioned this. She's just the dutiful daughter. I've seen some people being really harsh on this character and being she's a little conniving, just trying to get in there to the king. And I'm like, dude, it's very obvious that her dad was pushing her in that direction, and that she's just being a dutiful daughter. When he's, "Are you going to see the king?" And she's like, "If you wish me to," as she's just peeling apart her fucking cuticles and shit. And it's I don't think she hates everything about her life. I think she can recognize that she's got it pretty good being a queen in this world, and that Viserys isn't a jackass, and he's not a horrible man. He's a good man. He's just not attractive to her, and not who she would have chosen for herself had her dad not shoved her at him, And in this episode, there's just so many little scenes, little moments where she's not even talking, but you just can see it in her face. I just feel she's a little jealous of Rhaenyra, but not in a, I want to be fucking mean to you kind of way, but just kind of like, God, I wish I could be a little bit freer. I wish I could be a little bit more like her. I think she wishes, like, that's her jealousy, I think, is like, God, I wish I was more like her. I was fucking dying at Rhaenyra. So when they go, Daemon takes her to go, you know, shenanigans, and then, you know, they start doing their shenanigans. And first of all, I was like, oh, the pearl clutching that we're going to see. I'm like, man, I need people, if you're gonna watch this show, okay, just accept the fact that the Targaryen family did a lot of incest. They do many incests, okay? Like, accept it. Like, back then in this world, in this fictional world, and even in our own world, back in the day, like, marrying cousins was more, like, fine, right? Even first cousins was kind of like, whatever, people just did that all over the place. And, like, in this fictional world also, that would happen. Cousins, second cousins, sometimes even first cousins of other families would intermarry. But the Targaryens were different in the fact that they would marry, like, the sister wives thing, like brothers and sisters would be married. And it was a whole thing. Like, they had to convince the realm to allow this because initially, you know, all the maesters and the priests and everybody was like, what? Because, like, what the fuck? Like, literally your brother and sister and you're married and you're having babies? Huh? And nobody was cool with it. And it was like a whole big thing to get people to, like, basically for the church to, like, recognize their marriages and recognize their heirs and everything. And they did eventually, but most of the realm, even in this fictional world, still does think it's very weird that they do more than just marry cousins. And I'm just like, but you need to just accept that that's what the Targaryens did, okay, people? If you're going to watch the show, because I'm not going to spoil anything, but if you're clutching your pearls now, you're going to be in for a world of pain or shock or I don't know, whatever you're feeling. Because it gets worse, I'm telling you. And, like, they didn't really say it in the show. They didn't specify it, but, like, Viserys and Aemma were cousins. And I'm fairly certain that Viserys and Daemon's parents were. Oh, now I need to double check that. Yeah, yes, I was correct, as I suspected. Yeah, Balon and Alyssa. They were brother and sister. So Viserys, his parents were brother and sister. Like, this is not a shocking thing. Like I said, people in the realm, other houses do still think, like, this is a little weird, but, like, that's the Targaryen. It's kind of one of those things, like, nobody else is doing this, and it's kind of fucking weird, and I don't know if I like it, but, like, those Targaryens, you know, it's not, I don't know. I'm just like, can we stop clutching the pearls and just, like, accept it and move on, please? Because it's going to be a lot more. And, like, Laenor and Rhaenyra, who are about to marry in the next episode, apparently, per the preview, they're cousins. It's just going to keep happening, and we're going to see more brother-sister, okay? Like, you're going to see it. So please accept it and move on. But anyways, I was cracking up that, you know, she got all hot and bothered there, and then he's like, oh, JK, nah. And girl was worked up. She goes back to her room and is like, get over here, man. I need satisfaction. Oh, I was cracking the hell up. And, man, I really do feel for Alicent because she genuinely wants to be besties with Rhaenyra again, and she, like, really believes her. Rhaenyra is just lying through her fucking teeth. My God. And I'm just, Otto, oh my God, I love that that's how he gets removed. Because in the book, I don't remember if there is, like, specifics, but he does get, like, removed from office for continuously pushing for Aegon to be named heir. But I don't remember if it's, like, a specific incident or if it's, like, this type of thing again, or if it's just, like, Viserys got sick of it. I can't remember. I read it twice, but it's been a minute since I read it, and there's a lot of information. I'm sorry. But yeah, it was just really funny to me that as soon as she was like, I'll do my duty, I was like, oh, she's gonna have a fucking bargaining chip, though, to get Otto the fuck out of here. I do think it's fair, though, because it's just like a conflict of interest. Like, you no longer are gonna be able to be an unbiased and like faithful hand of the king when you have a motive, you know what I mean, for making certain decisions. Oh, which reminds me, and I didn't make a note about this, but I've thought this kind of since episode 1, I think, that, what's his fuck? Oh god, the name, Lionel Strong. I mean, this man is the only fucking reasonable, unbiased person on the fucking council, it seems like. I mean, I guess the maester maybe, but he might have his own motivations too, we just haven't seen. But yeah, Lionel Strong, I really like him as a character because he is very, like, unbiased, and in episode 3, when Viserys is all drunk and like, oh, what, you're gonna put your son up? And he's like, nah, actually, I think Laenor would be a good one, and for XYZ reasons, and it all, like, makes fucking sense. And I feel like that makes him, in my head, if we're thinking about, you know, characters from Game of Thrones that these characters from House of Dragons remind us of, Varys. He reminds me of Varys, because Varys definitely had schemes and plots and stuff, but at the end of the day, it all was what he thought was the best thing for the realm, for the people. And I feel like Lionel Strong is on that same sort of mindset. And I love the ending of episode 4. It's like, even with Alicent, who I think Viserys very clearly, like, respects her opinion, he's influenced by her, and she gives him good advice that he takes, and that's great. But I think he, at the end of the day, is like, I know my daughter, and I know my brother, and I know my brother wouldn't make that up to just me privately. So here's a little tea, honey. And I feel like it was kind of him being like, I don't really believe you, but you're right. It isn't really fair that because you're a girl, you have different expectations. You do, though, so let's keep this shit quiet. Let's not have an accidental oopsie baby. Take this tea, and let's keep it fucking moving. So, there's my thoughts. I mean, I probably have more thoughts, but yeah. And yeah, let me know, does anybody, I mean, if you care about the dragons, I guess you can just go watch another video talking about them. There's plenty out there. Anyway, let me know what your thoughts on these episodes were, and who's your current favorite character, least favorite character, etc. As always, thank you so much for your time. Hope you have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.